Jumpstart with Haisha Barrett on Jumpstart from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Amman. You're listening to Jumpstart on 90.4 live here in Studio 1 at the top of the hill of Medina Al-A'lam. Talal Al-Shahri here with you alongside Kharka Sannani. And we're now joined by Master Neurotransformational Coach, Master Life Coach Haisha Barrett.
Good morning.
It's been a while since we've been on Wellness Wednesday together, Haisha.
I know. And yeah, where have you been? You've been hiding from me.
For good reason.
I know.
But
you don't like to hear about bettering your life. It's all good.
It's scary. It's scary, Haisha.
Well.
It's scary. I like to bottle everything inside and then break apart at
and then explode.
Some random garage in Sanaia, just start crying my eyes out, get all the poor Bengali and Indian guys really worried about me, and then I just march away.
That is so mean. And please don't take it out on your wife or your kid either, because that's horrible.
I just tell them it's the gas fumes.
The monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, that.
But I'm so glad to be joined by Kharka today.
I'm here.
Yay. So nice. But we missed Tuka, so hopefully next week, inshallah.
Tuka's off this week, taking part, it's a short week, so some people have taken advantage of that here in the country.
Yes.
Some have escaped to colder places. I escaped yesterday to Snow Oman.
Nice, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been in a while, and
did you see the penguins?
they were there, but we
Wait,
didn't
actual penguins?
Yes.
Yes.
No, no.
Yeah, you get to actually meet them if you want to.
Do they have the giant ones? Because I know in Dubai they have the giant penguins, like the emperor penguins, and I went and hugged one.
Whoa.
It's so cute. But I don't know if they have them here.
They have king penguins.
Oh, they have king penguins.
Yes,
They're pretty big. They're big.
Penguins.
Penguins.
but went in there yesterday. My phone died on me, and I had 3 kids with me. It was just me and them.
Oh, so no photos.
I managed to get some photos at the very beginning, but they took photos of us there because they have camera people, and then they try to ha ha ha.
20 reals.
We'll make you. It was 1 real per picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like
printed
a
with
nice
the whole
big
frame and
printed one?
everything.
Okay, that's not terrible.
They have a special going on for the summer. This is, by the way, this is an unpaid marketing.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Yeah, because I would advise people to go because you can have fun and really escape the heat, and feel nice and cool/cold.
It's cold in there.
Yeah. And it is an easy way to they have a lot of different packages going on. So just if you can't travel is what I'm saying. If you can't leave Muscat, or then why not?
Or buy a big fridge and just sit in it.
Yeah, it would cost less to just go to Snow Oman.
You know what? I wonder if they would ever do in Snow Oman like a camping experience. I don't know how big it is or if they have space, but
they have enough.
They have enough space.
They have enough space, but I wonder if they would do an overnight camping experience. So you can stay overnight at the mall in Snow Oman, pitch up your tent and camp.
That could be such a nice idea, and then have the northern lights appear as well, and have a whole experience.
Yeah, you get a winter, a proper winter camping experience.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
You know what they do? They actually have it where you can take your dogs there.
Really?
Yes. So they have doggy day out.
Wait, in Snow Oman here?
In Snow Oman, yeah.
Really?
Especially in the summer as well for the dogs. So they actually play in the snow and they enjoy it. And it's wonderful. It's so nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Snow Oman, a.k.a. the white zone of Muscat. And speaking of zones, today we're talking about blue zones.
Blue zones. Yes, we are indeed.
So, basics, Haisha.
Basics.
Before we get into that, you can follow Haisha at Coach_Haisha, online Haisha, Hyesha, and or Haisha Barrett on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can also book a session with her. She's affiliated with the Whispers of Serenity Clinic. So now moving towards blue zones. What is a blue zone?
So a blue zone is basically an area in the world where centenarians live too. Centenarians are basically
half horse, half human?
Yes.
Okay. Centaurs, absolutely, yes. And so those are very, very special people. No, ignore him, guys. It's got nothing, Talal. Stop interrupting Talal. It's got nothing to do with half humans and half horses. Centenarians are basically people who live to 100 and beyond. Or at least a 90 to 100, which is amazing. And basically, these are regions. There's 5 regions in the world, and we'll get to them. The first one is in Okinawa in Japan. The second one is Sardinia in Italy. The third one is Ikaria in Greece. The fourth one is Nicoya in Costa Rica. And the fifth one is Loma Linda in California. There's a movie out there called Live to 100 Secret. No, sorry, it's on Netflix. It's not a movie, it's episodes. Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones. And now they're actually saying Singapore is soon becoming a blue zone as well.
Really?
Which is amazing, yes. And so, guys, I would recommend that you watch it. There's like 100-plus-year-old men riding horses, you know, and it's just like insane. So it kind of like breaks down all of the norms that we think of like 100-year-olds should be, right? Like, I want to live to 120. That's me. I'm not sure about you guys.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, right? And I think that this is the way that life is developing. As long as we kind of stick to what these guys are saying, I think we can do that. So the show is that I want to go into the 5 different zones, and then we'll talk about the commonalities between these 5 zones. And let's talk a little bit how maybe we can make Oman a little bit of a blue zone inspired.
Okay.
And then also how we as individuals can become more, you know, live more of a longevity life.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go into it. Let's get into the first one. So Okinawa in Japan, they actually call it the land of the immortals, which is lovely. And this is the southernmost island of Japan, okay? And so they actually have less cancer, they have less heart disease, they have less dementia than most of the populations in the world. And actually, this is where the women live the longest on the planet. And it's all built on simplicity, you know, and this is not rocket science, guys. This is nothing new. This is nothing like, oh my God, they have a secret pill or they have like these injections that they take. No, it's nothing like that. Actually, we go right to basics. And so it's amazing that literally the older Okinawans have eaten literally a plant-based diet most of their life. Okay. So they live on these things called purple sweet potatoes. And they're 150 times more, they have 150 times more antioxidants than blueberries. And they literally live on that. They live on beans, tofu, soy, which is high in nutrients and low in calories as well, which is remarkably different from what we eat.
Yes.
Which is a lot of meat.
A lot of
meat. And a lot of white rice.
A lot of chips.
A lot of chips. Yes. Of course.
And
Exactly. All of those things as well, which is not going to help us with, you know, having low calories and also, you know,
things that are nutrient dense as well.
Yeah, you know, and so tofu has flavonoids in them. I don't know if you like tofu.
I love tofu.
Yeah, so, but that, and I don't know, there's different types of tofu. You know, there's soft tofu, there's hard tofu, there's different types of tofu. And
fermented tofu.
Yeah, so honestly, guys, if you haven't tried tofu, please do try it out because it helps protect your heart and it helps guard against breast cancer. You know, in the East, actually, little side note from blue zones, a lot of people in China and in Japan hardly have breast cancer because they eat a lot of soy. They eat a lot of tofu.
Is it because of the estrogen content in tofu?
It could be that as well. It could be a lot of things. But apparently they have a lot of flavonoids in them, and that really helps to reduce the breast cancer. Okay, and also fermented foods helps to contribute to a healthy gut as well. Right? And so this matters because we're talking about foods that are working on the cellular level, right? And this supports your nervous system. This supports your body's natural healing capacity. So that's the first thing. The second thing that they have is called the moai. And the Okinawan tradition of forming a moai provides secure social networks, okay? These safety nets, and it's so nice, these safety nets lend financial, emotional support in times of need, and it gives back to the members the security of knowing that there's always someone there for them. It was wonderful, you know, it's like a sense of community.
Yes.
Which is beautiful, you know, one thing that they do that we hear about a lot is that people who grow old get a little bit lonely. Yeah. And so unfortunately you die of like heartache and you know.
And die in isolation too.
In isolation as well. Yeah. And so having people around you at all times to lift you up and if you need emotional support or financial support are there for you. It's amazing.
I mean, because don't they say that loneliness is equal to smoking,
That's what they say.
Like a full pack or 14 packs or something?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, it's equally as deadly to smoking, however
smoking.
many packs of cigarettes a day.
All we get is a wink.
Winky.
But yeah, it's amazing how it equates to that as well. Loneliness is a disease, yeah. The other thing that they have beyond food and community is something called an ikigai. And we have done a show on Ikigai beforehand. And this is called a reason. This means a reason of being, basically, a raison d'être, right? And so it's an intrinsic sense of purpose. And this is recognized as a critical factor in your mental and your emotional well-being, because it directly influences your life expectancy as well, which is interesting to know. So we always talk about that. Find your life purpose, like have something to live for, And it doesn't have to be something huge.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be something grand and impressive. It doesn't have to be where you're on stage and you're changing the world.
I mean, for me personally, but...
Yeah. Well, okay. And for you, that's your personal ikigai, right?
Yeah.
But other people, it doesn't have to be like that, So I saw another show about these amazing people doing their ikigai, and he just wants to make coffee. That's it. His little coffee shop in his hometown, and that's his ikigai, and that's what he wakes up for in the morning.
I love that.
And it's wonderful. It could be that you want to raise emotionally safe children. It could be that you want to care for family. It could be that you want to tend to your garden.
I was literally just thinking that.
Yeah.
Just like tending to the garden.
Tending to the garden. And that's one thing that they do as well in Okinawa. They have gardens as well. So that is wonderful. Relating to a little bit about the ikigai is that now they've changed it a little bit in the West, where it's basically a combination of your profession, of your vocation, of your mission, and of your passion. Okay? And so what it creates is that what they say is that you have to have a purpose, and you have to have a mission in life, basically what you love. And a passion, right? You have to have a profession in life, what you're good at. You have to have a vocation, what you can be paid for, and you have to have a mission, what the world needs.
They've basically commodified it or commercialized it. I don't even know what the right term is, but they've made a business out of it.
And I guess when we understand more of a structure around things, then we can... You okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just sniffling. Didn't want to sniffle into the microphone while you're talking. Not cute. Anyway, sorry. I literally didn't mean to interrupt. I was trying to keep it smooth.
I'm seeing you and I'm like, oh my God, is she okay over there?
I'm good. I'm managing. Okay. I'm just
okay, cool.
All right.
Great. And so basically when we understand a bit more of what we want in our life, then we're able to go towards that, right? Because they also have broken it down where they say that if we just have what we love and what we're good at, there is satisfaction, but there is a feeling of uselessness. Okay?
If we just have what we...
If we just have what we love and what we're good at, there's a feeling of satisfaction, but there's a feeling of uselessness.
So because the missing component is the inability to give back, or we're feeling like we're not contributing.
Exactly.
Simply by doing what we love.
And contributing is a big, big, big thing. When we contribute, when we serve, when we provide, that's our sense of joy at the end of the day.
Does it have to be a tangible thing? For example, an artist, right?
Yep.
They love to paint and they're good at painting.
Yep.
They create art.
Yep.
Does the fact that they create art is that enough of a contribution? Does that constitute as a contribution?
It is, as long as they can sell. So there has to be something that you paid for as well.
So there's a caveat that it has to actually not even succeed, but it actually has to culminate into something.
You have to have clients at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, we have something called money, which we need in order to feel like, okay, I'm getting something in return.
Right.
And you can go back to a barter system, of course, if you give you're painting
trade,
and you get something back in return, but there's a trade there. There's something, in return. So you have to also have that. It's not just you're tending to something and you're doing something, but you're not actually contributing, or you're not getting money in return. You're not getting paid for it.
All right. So the exchange has to exist.
There has to be an exchange.
Is this the westernized ikigai, or is this the
original?
This is more
a westernized ikigai.
Okay.
However, it is also related to the ikigai as well. When you feel like you have all these four components, there is a sense of, completeness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is beautiful. So there's that. The fourth thing that they have is in these wonderful Okinawans. It's something called the Hara Hachi Bu. And basically, it's an ancient Confucian principle as well, where it advises eating until you're 80% full, right? And this effectively promotes portion control and mindful eating. And, unlike us in the West and also in Middle East, and, all around the world, I'm not shaming anyone here, but at the end of the day, what do? We eat when we're emotional. We eat when we're distracted. We eat when we often eat quickly. We're not connected to our food, and we're not connected to our stomachs. We're not connected to, I feel full, but I'll just have like one more bowl of ice cream. Or, I feel full, but let me just watch a movie and I'm just going to eat a whole big extra large popcorn. I'm not connected to my food.
And to what your body needs.
Exactly, right? And so that's the beautiful thing, a beautiful practice that they have called Hara Hachi Bu. So that's the Okinawans for you guys. Let's move on to, I'm aware of time, but and I want to go through them all and I want to share the commonalities as well. So I'm aware of time. Should we just continue, Talal?
Let's do one more, then we'll take a quick break.
Perfect. Okay, so the next one is Sardinia. And they call this one the shepherd's longevity. Okay, and this is in the Mediterranean Sea, and the blue zone stands out as the unusually highest number of centenarians, especially in men. And while women generally live longer than men globally, here in Sardinia, they actually break that pattern, right? And so what stands out here is natural movement. And Sardinia is very steep-hilled. So you see, and watch the episode, guys. You see them walking up steep hills. And this is a natural movement. They're not doing it to run a marathon. They're not doing it because whatever. They're doing it because they're going to the neighbors. They're going to get some milk. They're going to get some eggs, whatever it may be. So they do it as part of their natural life, as the natural movement, right? And so it's gardening, it's cleaning, it's walking, it's cooking, it's climbing stairs, it's visiting neighbors. And so they basically use their body how it's designed to be. And that's the whole thing about these blue zones, is that it's about how we live while we're alive. Which I love that. I love that concept.
That's such a great way to put it. How we live while we're alive.
Yeah, yes. Because we don't want to wait till the end of our life to go, oh, damn it, I should have done this, I should have done that. No, live. And we always talk about this. Live in the moment. Live your joy. We hear it. We know it. But do we actually practice it?
No, we don't.
We don't. And I don't know why we don't, but we just don't. And that's just something to ponder on, guys. Why don't we? Why don't we, And so here as well, the diet is deeply connected to lands and seasons. So meals are made from scratch. They're shared at the table. They have everything that's grown on their land. They forage for them in the wild. There's garden vegetables, wild herbs, goat's milk, olive oil, like all of these things that really, really help you to sort of lower your cholesterol, right? Yeah. And also they do consume wine as well, which is what they make on the island. And that is full of polyphenols and flavonoids. Again, it's a big word. Flavonoids. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for that. And so this all contributes to a lower rates of cardiovascular disease, right? And so they actually only eat meat only 4 or 5 times a month compared to, let's say, lots of us. And so the bulk of their protein comes from beans.
I was about to say.
Yeah, beans. And we'll see in a minute, but all these 5 zones all eat beans. Beans, and we eat lentils, we'll see here as well, and we'll come to that in Oman as well.
Get on track with Haisha Barrett on Jumpstart from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Amman. You're listening to Jumpstart on 90.4, live here in Studio 1 at the top of the hill in Medina Al-Alam. Talal and Khairaka here with you, and joined now, of course, since it's Wednesday, by Master Life Coach Haisha Barrett. You can follow at Coach_Haisha online, on Instagram specifically, Haisha Barrett, 2 R's, 2 T's, on Facebook and LinkedIn. And today we're recapping an episode we did probably around 3 years ago.
Yes, we did.
Which Dr. Khalid actually texted in earlier, and he said, I remember the first time I heard you guys talk about blue zones. He's like, I think I've lived too long.
No, not long enough.
But now he says,
you're going to live forever, Dr. K.
He says, that sounds horrible.
No, but in a good way. Like, I want to live forever. Don't you guys want to live forever? To be immortalized?
It sounds tiring.
Well, I think it sounds energizing.
Like a vampire?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've got so much still to do, so much still to learn. Then I'll have so much longer to actually accomplish it. For me, I feel excited by that. I don't feel drained by long life at all. Like, I want to live to 120. I feel in my bones I am going to live to that.
Yeah, I don't know why. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Dr. Khalid continues to say, I need to move inland and shorten my fuse. And thanks for sharing. Coach Kempachi was out there with us earlier saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and he requested the Amy Winehouse song we played. And for now, let's jump back in. We're talking today about blue zones, which are these certain areas around the world where there are more people who have crossed the 100-year age barrier than almost anyone in the world. The first one we talked about was Okinawa. Something funny?
Yeah, like you said, age barrier.
It is a barrier. Very few people.
Barrier to entry. Very, very high.
Yep. The age barrier. So the first city was Okinawa. In Japan. Second city was
Sardinia
in Italy. Singapore is on its way.
As a sixth zone, yes.
Yeah, so,
it is, yeah.
But let's talk about some of these other zones and what makes them unique and what aspects are the ones that make people live that long.
Sure. So the third zone is Ikaria, which is in Greece. And this island has actually earned a nickname of where it's called the island where people forget to die. Which is such a sweet way of putting it as well.
That's fascinating. Wow.
Right? And so literally today, as of today, Ikarians are mostly entirely free of dementia. And some of them literally, chronic diseases, which plague a lot of elders around the world, right? And so that says a lot as well. Coming back to food, it's literally Mediterranean food, it's a slower pace of life. It's a lot of olive oil again. It's afternoon rest, beans, again, lots of vegetable, lots of walking, and lots of strong social connection. We're seeing similarities already, right, between these three zones. And this is a great reminder to realize that rest is not laziness. This is a big reminder for me, because for me, I've always been no, I can't take a nap, because that's considered lazy. And come on, Haisha, just keep on pushing through. But actually, no. We need to take the intentional time. And I think intentional is the key here as well, right? Slowness is not a failure. We have to realize that in our fast-paced world, which is only getting faster and faster, we're almost made to believe that exhaustion is a badge of honor. Aren't we? We're made to believe that, okay, we need to be exhausted and then, well done, you've done a good job, you're knackered and you can't stand on your 2 feet anymore. Well done. And we always say I'm being busy, I'm so busy. But we need to realize we're being busy. We're being productive doing things that actually are not moving the needle. We're not going towards the things that we should be going towards in order to get that life that we want. Okay, and so Ikaria reminds us that we cannot heal in constant urgency, which is beautiful, and we have to also realize that our nervous system needs to chill every single day. We have to go back to let's say the caveman days. What happened then? They would go out, they would spend 3-4 days. It could be catching their prey. Yeah. But then they come back to their cave, they come back to their zone, and they chill. They chill for days, weeks. They have their hunt there. Mm-hmm. But what happens nowadays? We never actually get our nervous system to chill. We're always, there's notification here. Oh, there's something from the boss here. Oh, there's something from the wife here. Oh, there's something from the kids here. And boom, 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 boom. We're constantly on that that spike. That cortisol spike is constantly in our nervous system, so we never actually get to chill. So chilling is very, very important. And similar to Sardinia, as we mentioned, their diet is Mediterranean. It's based on homegrown vegetables, including wild vegetables and, again, beans. Limited amount of sugar, limited amount of meat, and more grains and more fish. Goat milk, honey, herbal teas that they actually grow there. So marjoram, sage, mint, chamomile, all these things are grown there, and they eat that. And also Ikaria, similar to Sardinia, they actually drink red wine as well, and they have lots of olive oil. And so the fourth one is in Costa Rica, which is in Nicoya. And this is in Central America. And their philosophy is very similar to the Ikigai in Okinawa. And here they call it the plan de vida, which is the life plan. And so, which is beautiful as well. So they have that same concept, what's their purpose in life? What do they wake up for in the morning? What do they want to achieve? That's not just, necessary for the like society and culture, but what's it good
what
for
resonates
me? What
with
resonates
them,
with
yes.
me? What's my authentic self? Doesn't matter what my parents want, doesn't matter what society wants. What do I want? And it happens a lot, I know, where parents want the best for our kids. We want them to be engineers and doctors and dentists and all of these things, but and artists and singers are not viewed as. But if that's your, you can make a lot of money being an artist. You can make a lot of money being a chef, being a singer. If you move towards that, I mean, okay, yeah. but you can do.
Yes, you can. There's always the opportunity.
Achieve that, right?
Yeah.
And if you hustle and if you push for it. But the thing is, a lot of people really think that that's just a creative part of. That's just a hobby.
Oh yeah, no, I've been told that several times in my life.
Yeah.
So it's that. I understand the perspective because it's not being an artist isn't exactly an easy field, but I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's not easy. Life isn't easy.
What to do?
So what else do they have in Nicoya? Again, coming back to diet, it's fortified in maize, in beans. It's centered around the traditional Mesoamerican Three Sisters, which is basically corn, beans, and squash.
Oh.
And squash is related to Okinawa as well, which has got the purple yams.
Yes.
So squash, very good for you. And again, we hear these things, but do we actually practice it? Me included, I hardly don't. I prefer to eat, just like potato French fries instead of like sweet potato French fries. But when I eat the sweet potato French fries, they're actually delicious. They're so good, So yeah, I think it's just a matter of just
shifting the mindset,
and even changing just a little bit over time, So we have to realize that these nutrient-dense trio has fiber, it's got protein, it's got carbohydrates, antioxidants, and of course with meats and with some fish as well. And so what else do they have in Nicoya? Their family structure matters deeply. Okay. Another focus is on family, special ability to listen and to laugh. And Nicoyan centenarians tend to live with their families and their children and their grandchildren, who provide support as well as a sense of purpose as well. And so that's really interesting. But one interesting thing as well about Nicoya is that the kids who were raised, who were born in the blue zone, but when they went abroad, they actually lost that sort of sense of becoming, of tightness with the family as well. And they don't seem to live as long. Very interesting as well.
Oy.
Yeah. So the fifth zone is Loma Linda, which is in California. And this one is not a remote island. It's not a mountain village like the other four. This one is a modern community, which is quite interesting. And their longevity is often linked to faith, community, Sabbath rest, which is usually on a Saturday, where they don't do anything, and not smoking, and little or no alcohol as opposed to the other ones. So it's interesting how some want alcohol, others don't, and it's still a blue zone as well, right? So it doesn't mean that just one thing means that you're a blue zone. It's a community, it's a
combination.
It's a combination, exactly, of so many things as well. But here as well, largely plant-based diet, lots of nuts, a lot of nuts in Loma Linda. And here as well, what makes Loma Linda unique is that it's the only blue zone driven by religious conviction. The other one's not so much.
I wonder, however, if the religions, because religion really is a social practice, right? It's a very communal practice. Yeah. So I wonder if that is also what ties that in.
Well, apparently so in Loma Linda. Apparently so. That is something where they really, really are. There's something called Adventists.
Adventists.
Yes, exactly. And so they really, form a love of their religion, and they really form like a community around that as well. And for them, Sabbath rest is one of the key elements of their Blue Zone components. And what makes Loma Linda unique, as I mentioned, is the religious conviction. And most of them are either vegan or vegetarian, and they really take their diet directly from the Bible, which is interesting as well. And so this means that their dietary choices may carry spiritual weight, and so it's not only about health, it is about living in alignment with their deepest beliefs. And so it comes back again. What are your belief systems? What are your true values, that you live by every single day? So that's extremely interesting. So I'm aware of time. I could go into more of each zone, but I'd like to go to the commonalities. Should we continue, Talal, or go on a little
go
break?
for it.
Okay. So the common thread that they have between them, there are 7 of them, where it's plant-based eating, as we mentioned. So every single blue zone prioritizes vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and fruits. Meat isn't eliminated, but it's very reduced. Okay. And this matters again, as we mentioned, because it reduces inflammation at the cellular level. Very, very, very important. And it supports your microbiome, and it creates an anti-inflammatory internal environment. So let's be a little bit aware of that, guys. Why are you laughing?
Because I think I need to go to a vegan vegetarian diet, because I have an autoimmune disease, so which just means that my body is constantly inflamed
and fighting against itself.
Exactly. And I just found out that my husband found out actually that garlic is not great because it boosts your immune system.
Ooh.
And for an immune system that's already on overdrive, you're just adding fuel to the fire.
How interesting, because we often hear that garlic is very good for you.
If you're sick, but my immune system is like, kill everything. And I'm like, great, okay.
Okay. Do you eat a lot of meat? Okay, I take that as a yes. So maybe become a pescatarian. At least reduce the amount of meat that you have to start with. Don't eliminate it completely, but reduce it.
I'm about to go home and just eliminate all the meat. Just go for it. Like, just pack the fridge with fruits and veggies, and that's it.
See how it goes. Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah. There was another show that I forget the name of. They had this. It's a twins experiment.
What the health?
So it had twins. I think they're like 7 or 8 pairs of twins. And one of them was on a meat diet and the other one was on a plant-based diet. Yeah. And they literally had months of it, right? Where they had...
I think it was like 1 to 3 months
right.
For the trial. And within like the first 4 or 6 weeks, the twin that went purely vegan was able to get off all of their medication.
Amazing.
No diabetes medication, everything kind of balanced out. And of course, they really focused, so the caveat is that they only focus on the diet. We don't know what other changes they implemented, whether they exercised more, whether
But I recall as well that they did. They were exercising as well, and they were following them to a T.
Okay.
Yeah. And it even influenced their sex drive. It influenced everything.
Wow.
Which is insane. And so at the end of the day, plant-based diet, that comes back to the basics as well. So guys, I know there's lots of carnivores out there and people who would probably hate me right now. But, at the end of the day, to just reduce your consumption. I'm not saying to eliminate it completely, but there are some people who are like, if I don't have meat in my meal, I'm not eating a meal. And I'm like, I get that. But
if you want to live to 100,
yes,
consider maybe reducing the meat intake.
Yeah. So that's the first one, plant-based eating. The second one is natural movement built into daily life. Okay. And so these people in these blue zones, they're not obsessed with strict diets or exercise. They're not obsessed with marathons or triathlons. They're not obsessed like that. It's just their way of life. That's what they implement every single day. Just moving. It could be Tai Chi. It could be parking further away from the what's it called?
The mall.
The mall. It could be, whatever it is, but just implement more steps into your life. And it's not about counting the steps either. It's just doing them, being intentional about that. Okay. And obviously these guys are farmers, so whether we can incorporate more of that into Oman is debatable, of course, with the heat here. However, we can find ways, gardening, walking uphill, if you're too hot outside, go and walk 10 laps in a shopping mall. Do something, be creative in your way of getting in those steps.
During
beach,
winter,
of course.
yeah.
I mean, I love going to the beach now. Like maybe I'm a weirdo, but I love going outside in this heat. I actually don't get cold. Hot.
Same.
So for me, I love it. I go walking on the beach every morning. I go swimming in the sea every day, and I love it. But I get it. People feel hot. So just find ways. Don't just be sitting on your couch. Please don't do that. And what I find funny as well when people say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, and then they drive to the gym, and then they go on the treadmill of the gym. It's like, just walk around your neighborhood, I don't know. Anyway, that's my way of thinking, and no dissing to gym buffs out there, but yeah, but one good thing that these blue zones have is that they actually chop wood They knead their own bread. You know, they make crafts. They do everything with their hands. So use your hands, you know, and we don't realize that when we actually use our hands, we're building up muscles by just kneading bread, you know, just doing something that is part of your daily life.
But also, doesn't that strengthen the connection, like neural pathways in a way, because you're using your hands? And craftsmen also tend to, like pianists.
Yes.
They will remember pieces that they learned 30, 40, 50 years ago in their youth, even though they might have dementia or Alzheimer's. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that because it's not something that is cognitive. It's not something like a language that you have to remember. It's embodied, you know, and that comes back to embodiment. When it's embodied in your cells, you remember it. So I went swimming the other day.
I was about to bring it up.
and we went on a boat, and there's a good friend of mine who, sadly to say, and I'm not dissing him, but he's put on a bit of weight. He's even said that as well. He's put on at least 20 kilos. But he used to back dive, you know, off a boat, he would back dive. And still now he's doing it. He's 20 kilos heavier, which you look at him and go, oh, wow, this guy probably won't be able to do that. He's still doing that. Because it's embodied in his body. It doesn't matter the size of him. He remembers it. His cells remember it. It's insane. So that's something to also think of as well. You know, the embodiment of your actions it becomes to the cellular level. It's beautiful. The third thing as well, we've mentioned two now, plant-based eating, natural movement. The third one is a strong social connection and community. You know, across every single blue zone, people do have tight-knit communities where relationships are prioritized and sustained. Very, very important. Making that as what we mentioned at the beginning about loneliness, you know, and it happens a lot. It's happening a lot nowadays. People become more connected to their phones and they do connection physically. So we need to be aware of that, please, guys. Fourth one is sense of purpose. So it could be your ikigai, it could be a plan de vida. You know, every person in these zones has a reason to wake up. And I remember when I was in my previous job, I hated waking up in the morning because I hated my boss. I love you now because I have compassion towards you, but I'm not going to mention who he is or what it was. But it was not fun to wake up in the morning. And a lot of people go through this. A lot of people struggle. It could be a boss. It could be their wife. It could be their whatever it may be. You know what I mean?
I don't want to wake up because of my wife. Well, I hate to break it to you, but she's not going anywhere because you married her.
Well, I mean, you could move on from her as well. And
you could.
And I'm all for that.
Yes.
I'm all for divorce as long as both of you consent to it and it's amicable, especially if there's kids, you know. There's nothing worse than staying in a marriage or in a job or a relationship if you don't feel good, and your kids will see that. Your kids will see, oh, okay, Mama and Baba are staying together, but they're hating each other. What's the understanding that I have of relationships? How am I going to go into the world? Who am I going to attract? You know, and so we need to be aware of that. It's a whole different show.
Yeah.
But related.
Yes.
You know. The fifth one is stress management and rest. You know, and none of these are rocket science. None of these that I mentioned, you know, we all know them, right? We all know them. Stress management and rest. Oh, wow, really? Okay, but do we do that? No. You know, we pride ourselves with a badge of honor of pushing through. You know, this often gets so overlooked. It really, really does, you know. And so we need to understand that these cultures take rest into their structure, whether it's the Okinawan rhythm, whether it's the Ikarian siesta, whether it's the Sardinian slowness. You know, they're wonderful things to ponder on and to do, right? But because we're, you know, what happens in the West, and also here, we unwind regularly, but on what? Social media. TV, internet, YouTube, Netflix. You know, that doesn't help. Talabat. You know, we have everything at the press of a button. How lucky are we? But we dance less. We hang out less.
Girl,
you know,
I miss dancing.
Yeah, you know, dancing, and that's just your natural rhythm. You know, and how many calories do you burn through dancing?
And it brings so much joy. Natural movement.
Yes, absolutely. You know, so we need to think of that more for sure. The sixth one is moderate wine and health and herbal tea. You know, so where alcohol does appear, it is in moderation. You know, it happens with socials. You know, it happens when it's more about the gathering than the wine, of course. It's more about being together. And it could be tea if you don't drink wine, no problem at all. But you pair it with food, you know, and herbal teas are cultural. They're cultural staples. And what's absent is the constant stimulation of caffeine and processed sugars, which is important as well. But we all do love our caffeine. And
yeah.
Right. And the seventh one is a strong family bond and multi-generational living. You know, elders are not isolated or warehoused or put into a home. You know, they live with the family. They're needed. They have roles. This gives them both practical support and also psychological purpose. So that's the similarities. Should we go on a little break, Talal, before we go into if Oman can become more of a Blue Zone inspired and what we can do on an individual level?
No breaks.
No breaks?
We have
continue?
World Cup coverage in 13 minutes.
Okay, let's continue.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's obviously
Cool.
a priority. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so could Oman become more Blue Zone inspired? It certainly can, because Oman already has the beautiful ingredients of a healthy way of life in the sense that we have family. You know, we live with our family, which is beautiful. We have faith. We have hospitality. We have shared meals. We have respect for elders. We have the beautiful mountains, the wadi, the sea. We have dates. I went to a farm the other day, and I didn't realize that you could actually live on one date a day. Obviously you don't want to, but if you were to, you could sustain your life on one date a day. It's got everything in that date. It's insane.
You'd be alive. You'd be breathing.
I mean, okay, you
wouldn't really be like running a marathon.
But out of any other food in the world,
that's the one.
The date, yeah, and apparently avocados as well.
Being asked how long are we talking?
I mean, I don't know. That's what he mentioned. I was like, I didn't go into the specifics of it all, but that's what he was like. If you just live on one date, you can sustain your life. Which is insane. And don't they say also that it's good to have 7 dates every single day, that you get enough of those?
Again, so this is all not necessarily research based.
Okay.
So
that's
let's avoid it before somebody decides to go on a one date a day.
No, I mean, don't definitely
don't.
do that, guys.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
It's okay, I'll stay alive.
Staying
this lady
alive.
on the
Staying
radio
alive.
said it. She heard it from some guy at a farm. So I'm gonna lose all the weight.
Here, just eat this burger, dude. I promise. No.
I think her name was Haisha.
do not only eat one date a day, guys. I didn't mean that. However, if you were to be in the desert as an example and you need to have like something to sustain you, dates are apparently amazing.
Bring dates.
Bring dates with you. And in Oman, we have lentils, we have beans, we have lots of herbs. You know, we do have a culture that still understands gathering, which is beautiful, as opposed to the West, you know. But the problem is, the challenge is that modern life is pulling us away from many of these. You know, we are becoming more car dependent. We are becoming more screen connected.
I mean, we've always been car dependent, though.
Yeah, because of the heat as well.
And
which is a shame.
we just don't really have the infrastructure to encourage walking.
That is true.
So we've always been car dependent.
However, we need to start potentially thinking of that. Maybe more shaded walking pathways, maybe more safe pavements, maybe more parks, you know, more family-friendly outdoor spaces.
Green spaces,
you know, more green spaces, which I think is part of Vision 2040, right? Which is beautiful. More walking groups in the cooler hours, you know, that's a wonderful thing that we can provide. More woman-friendly spaces for movement, as an example as well. We interviewed in the show last week Michaela, who's doing swimming.
Yes.
You know, so she's bringing in about, you know, more women groups because, of course, I understand culturally as well, a lot of women don't want to walk out because of, you know, respect and all that, for sure. However, we can create communities. You know, it could be indoors, it could be in safe places to do that. So
within the neighborhood.
We could do that as well. You know, and because the thing is, we are becoming more rushed. We're becoming more exposed to processed foods. We are becoming more sedentary. You know, so we need to, maybe even in workplaces, have more. We can encourage people to stand more. We can encourage people to walk around more. Every 20 minutes, go for a break, walk to here, walk to there, drink more water, whatever it may be. We can include that more, but it has to be
a conscious effort.
Conscious
joint effort.
Yes, for sure. On an individual level, what can we do? We can see how we structure our days. Mm-hmm. We can see who we surround ourselves with. Very important. We can see how we feed our body, and we can see how much rest we give to our nervous system. Beautiful components. As we mentioned, walking in the cooler months, we can take the stairs, we can park a little bit further away, we can cook at home more, put down that talabat, cook at home. Yeah. It's, I know a lot of us don't know how to cook, but we can experiment, and that's also fun, bringing the kids, bringing family. The kitchen, I love my kitchen, that is the place where you can just bring everyone together.
It would be cool, like a neighborhood cooking community.
Yes.
So everyone just joins the one auntie in her kitchen.
I love that.
Especially the youth, and they learn on a weekend, an hour. Yeah. All right, this is how you make biryani. Boom.
Yeah. I wonder if they have that here, because for example in Thailand, you go there and you pay good money to go to see this wonderful lady who shows you how to cook a pad thai.
Oh, that would be great.
So I'm sure, I don't know if they do have them here.
I don't know.
Because biryani, wonderful food,
all of it.
Yeah, all of it. I don't know if that's something to ponder on as well, or maybe even start up. That could be. There we go. Business idea right there. What else could we do? We definitely need to understand our circle of support. Very, very important. I feel like, we tend to allow people into our life that potentially are not necessarily the best for us because of many things that go on. And Oman is a small community. We don't want to burn bridges with anyone. I get that. However, we also need to learn how to enforce more boundaries so that we are feeling better equipped in our nervous system, So understanding our circle of support is very, very important. Eating slowly, stopping when you feel full, these are very important as well, as we mentioned with the Hari Bukuhai. Understanding and discovering our ikigai, very important as well. The reason why you wake up in the morning, cultivating a sense of purpose in our daily activities, engaging in meaningful social interactions, fostering positive relationships, so important. It's like, who are you? Understanding your identity as well. You're not just a job title. You're not just a gender. Who are you? What's your values? What's your belief systems? Really going into your intrinsic nature, understanding who you are on a cellular level is very important for you to understand your sense of purpose as well.
And that's what makes you who you are, because I feel like we so easily flit towards labels. Mm-hmm. Like I'm a daughter, I'm a this, I'm a that.
I'm a wife.
I'm a wife. Yep. But those are literally, just like you said, they're just titles. They're just labels. Titles. It doesn't really explore the depth and breadth of who you are as an individual.
Who are you as an individual? What do you really want? What will truly make you happy? Of course, that sometimes can go against the grain, and it can push back against elders and against family ethics and against, cultural norms and values.
Which is scary.
Which is scary. I get that. I get that. But it has to start somewhere. And it doesn't have to be a full 180 degrees boom flip. No. Slowly incorporate these new things into your life.
Or 180 flip.
Well, you can do that as well. I'm all for that.
Cold turkey.
Yeah, but some people can,
of course,
it can retaliate. So yeah, it's finding out what works for you. But I feel like if you're not happy in your life, something has to shift, and there's no better time than now. And so this also matters as well for parents, because our children not only learn wellness from what we tell them, and I've come from a generation that's like, you do as I say, not as I do, but now let's do what we say. Let's show our children who we want them to become. That's a beautiful way of living life, be that example, live that example. And because children learn, they're very astute. They will learn from the atmosphere we create, and they will notice, for example, whether meals are rushed or if they're relational. And I'm becoming more intentional about that. Because I'm not much of a foodie. I don't. My husband is, and so we're incorporating more of that. We're intentionally sitting with the children. Lunchtime, not so much because he's at work, and I'm more flexible with my hours. But dinner time, we're intentional. We're all sitting at the table. We're all trying each other's foods. We're laughing, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful, because what I remember about my childhood is the shared meals, the family meals together. These are the things that will resonate with us when we're older, And if our children only see us as stressed or distracted or disconnected or eating on the go or scrolling at the table, they were like, oh, okay, that's okay. That's okay. And that is their blueprint for adulthood, right? And so we don't want that. But if they see us walking, like now my kids see me going to the sea every morning, and they're like, Mama, I'm going to come with you on the weekend, and it's great. It's so wonderful, and so that becomes their blueprint as well. And so I know I need to wrap up here. So one of the biggest lessons from the blue zones that we really need to understand is we need to disconnect more from all of this screen stuff around us, yes, and reconnect more to our humanness, our spirituality, because we live in a world where everything feels urgent, everything, and silence has become uncomfortable. It really has. So we have to start becoming comfortable with the uncomfortableness of it all. And Blue Zones reminds us that health is not just about the body. It is about the life the body is living inside. Okay, and so we can eat the perfect diet, but if you're lonely, if you're chronically stressed, if you're disconnected, if you're purposeless, if you're sleep deprived, and if you're emotionally overwhelmed, the body will feel unsafe, naturally. So how do we become less stressed? We have to just connect more. Okay, so maybe the question is not only how do we live longer, but maybe the deeper question is how do we build lives we do not need to constantly recover from? Okay, guys? And so that to me is the real wisdom of the Blue Zones. Longevity is not just about adding years to your life. It is about adding life back into your years.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely, guys. So I hope this resonated with at least someone out there, and I hope someone just does just one little shift. And please, please, please watch the episodes. It's amazing. And there's so many things about Blue Zones out there as well. And inshallah, we will also incorporate more of that into our wonderful Oman as well.
Inshallah. Yes. Thank you so much, Haisha, for...
Oh, you're most welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Time and for your insight.
Yeah, and it's been so nice having you on the show this week as well.
I'm
Inshallah,
so happy
you will continue.
And listeners, if you have any interesting thoughts, our numbers are open 72442-007, and you can find Haisha on Instagram at
Coach_Haisha.
Coach_Haisha. And you also have a website.
I do, which is lifeandparentcoach.com.
Lifeandparentcoach.com. And we can also stalk you on LinkedIn, I'm guessing?
LinkedIn, I'm not so, active. Okay. I'm more active on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, that's it for today. That was Wellness Wednesday. Stay tuned for the World Cup update. Oh, that sounded weird. Coverage. World Cup coverage. I don't know why World Cup sounds weird in my head. Anyways, stay tuned. Bye.